Hey, you, yes, you, the one who's listening to this message right now, stop being afraid to speak the words that God has given you to speak, to touch the lives that God has already predestined for you to touch. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't know whose life you may be saving just by speaking the words that God has given to you to speak. Step up and be obedient. And when God tells you to open your mouth, just simply open your mouth and speak the words out of your mouth that God tells you to speak. Because it's somebody who needs the message that God has on the inside of you. Stop withholding it. Stop withholding it, because you withholding somebody's blessing. It's words, yes. And people hear a lot of words every day. But it's some words that you got in you that you need to release, because they are for somebody. Yes, they're for somebody. And when they hear those words, baby, that you speak, baby, they gonna move. I have seen it firsthand in my life. Had I not spoken up and said exactly what God told me to speak to specific people, some of them would not be in the place that they are today. They would not have made the moves that they needed to make. I always say, you know when a message is for you, because it hit different, baby. It hit different. It hit different. And I'm going to tell you how you know it hit different. Because you can be talking to somebody and you know that, you know what, baby, this message is for them. Because at the end of the day, you have their undivided attention. They can't move. They locked in on you. And another clue is that you're going to see them eyes begin to water. I'm being for real. I'm being for real. You going to see them eyes begin to water. What that heart do? What that heart do? You done tapped up on that heart. You pulling on that heartstring. They know this is for me. How did she know? Because you know what? God said speak. And she spoke. Can I say that again? Yes. God said speak. And she spoke. And that person have became free because you opened your mouth and spoke the words out of your mouth that God had gave you to speak, to be a blessing to somebody else. Y'all better stop holding back on God. Stop holding back on God and be obedient. He said, you know what? Some of us are meant to be prophets to the nations. Let me say that again. Y'all, don't be afraid to speak the words out of your mouth. Some of us are meant to be prophets to the nations. And you know, because like I say, when you speak the words out of your mouth, baby, you're going to see a confirmation. See, they already know. They already know. But when you spoke the words out of your mouth, it was confirmation for them, baby. It was confirmation. What I told y'all, it hit different. It hit different. I was telling one of my clients that I can hear a song. And I say, Lord, I know the message in that song. It was for me in that moment. It was for me. I know when somebody is speaking something for me, it hit different. I know that was for me. So y'all, I just come to tell you, baby. I just come to tell you. Stop holding back. Stop holding back. Don't none of us know how much time we got left. Use your time wisely. And I would start by doing what God has told you to do. Walk in your truth and your purpose, baby. Get on about your Father's business. And when he tells you to open your mouth and speak the words that God has given you to speak. And watch people be blessed just by your obedience to God. It's time, y'all. It's time. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to open your mouth. Don't be afraid to let God use you. Don't be afraid to let God use you. You should want to be used by God. Because if it had been for the grace of God, what would we be? It's because of his grace and his mercy that we're still here. It's because of his grace and his mercy that we're able to open our mouth, that we're able to raise our hands in praise, give thanks. It's because of his grace and his mercy that we got a stable mind. It's because of his grace and his mercy that we got a roof over our head. It's his grace and his mercy that we have resources, that we have finances. What you waiting on? Let God use you. And y'all, it's some people. You know with everything in you. You know what you're supposed to be doing. But you don't do it. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. You don't do it because you're worried about what somebody else say or what somebody else going to think. Well, I'm going to tell you something. People going to think what they want to think, and people going to say what they want to say. So let them think what they want to think. Let them say what they going to say, and you just do what God done told you to do. And don't worry about none of that, because God will handle that. God will handle that. You just do what God has told you to do. Y'all stop sitting down on God and get up. Get up. Get up, because all our days are numbered. All of our days are numbered. And I'm going to tell you, see, I'll be the first one to raise my hand and say, for the rest of my life, see, I don't know how much time I got left, but for the rest of my life, I'm going to live my life serving God and being the best servant that I can be. I ain't perfect by no means. I ain't perfect. But Lord knows I live to honor him, to worship him, to serve him, to praise him, to do his will, to walk in my truth and my purpose daily. Y'all, do what God has called you to do. Answer the call. Answer the call. Walk in your truth and your purpose. All right, y'all. It'll be the best decision you ever made. Stop holding back on God, because God don't hold back on you. He don't hold back on you. Now is the time. Now is the time, baby. You can touch the nation. And some of us, that's what we have been called to do. That's what we have been called to do, is to touch the nation. That's what some of us have been called to do, is to touch the nations. Y'all, all four corners of the world, the east, the west, the north, and the south, we shall touch for the glory of God. And I have to say this right here while I'm speaking. I'll never forget when I was at church and I stood up before the church and we was up there praying, and I told the first lady, I said, God told me he gonna use me. He told me he gonna use me. Even back then, I knew God was gonna use me for his glory. I knew that God was gonna use me for his glory. God, I thank you for using me for your glory. And I thank you for setting me free. And I thank you for setting the person free that's listening to this video right now, that they have taken the divine mic. Let me say that again. That they have taken the divine mic, that they have taken the divine pen of God, and they're using it for your glory. Baby, don't be afraid to open your mouth. Open your mouth and allow God to use you as only he can. Make a difference in this world. You are a light in this world, a bright, shining light. Let God use you for his glory. All right, y'all. Stop holding back and continue to let your light shine. and in letting your light shine. It's in your voice. Open your mouth. Open your mouth and speak the words that God has given you to speak. All right. Bye-bye.